This is Forecast First, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Yesterday, our high temperatures were divided pretty much in the middle for mid-Michigan, seeing the mid to upper 80s and low 90s when you go south. Then it was in the 80s and 70s to the north. That's that stalled front, stationary front sitting right there, not really budging. Thankfully this morning, getting a little bit of relief to the south, even though it is still slightly cooler to our north and east. Seeing 60s and 70s right now, but warmer weather's quickly approaching. We'll track it as 6 News This Morning continues.
WLNS is here for you, celebrating 75 years of bringing you the news with 6 News This Morning.
A Lansing landlord will be in court today, accused of violating the city's housing codes. Good morning and happy Thursday. Today is June 26th. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Megan Vaselli. 6 News is here for you now with this morning's top stories. Christian Nwabu is set to appear in court this afternoon for a show cause hearing. The judge will hear several cases against the landlord, alleging he mismanaged his rental properties. We first told you about Nwabu last year in a 6 News Investigate series. That's when we learned he was renting properties that were not inspected properly, known as pink-tagged properties, as well as red-tagged properties, which are considered unsafe to inhabit. Through our investigation, we also learned Nwabu owed Ingham County more than $300,000. This past April, the city of Lansing filed 8 lawsuits against the landlord for violating housing codes. It's the first step in the city's legal battle to ultimately seek receivership of all of his properties. New developments this morning in the case of the 2 campers found dead at Isle Royale National Park. The county medical examiner there believes they died of a murder-suicide. Our media partners at MLive report the bodies of the father and son were found earlier this month, but it's not clear who died first. Their names also have not been released, and the FBI is still involved in this investigation. A new idea now gaining some traction as state lawmakers consider how to fund Michigan's aging roads and bridges. The new approach is called the Road Usage Charge, or RUC, and would charge drivers based on how far they go as opposed to how much gas they use to get there. This comes as the County Road Association of Michigan says they're running into a new issue when it comes to the dollars in the Michigan Transportation Fund. The association says 40% of the state road funding comes from the gas tax, but that's diminishing. In fact, they say in 2023, Michigan sold the fewest gallons of gas in the last 25 years. They say a different business model for funding state roads is necessary, so now they're looking into the RUC system. However, some drivers say they don't like the idea of charging based on mileage. Now, this is still just a proposal, and it would take years to fully adopt if it gets approved in the first place. The first case of what later became known as HIV was reported in June of 1981. And now in 2025, we're well past the peak of this epidemic. But according to the CDC's most recent data, about 1 in 8 people in the U.S. who are living with HIV don't even know they have it. 6 News Morning reporter Zoe Hewitt is here for you with why doctors say it's critical to get tested.
Well, good morning, Megan. Tomorrow is National HIV Testing Day, which was established in the mid-90s to help promote early detection of the virus, not just to help with transmission, but also to preserve patients' immune systems for as long as possible.
I think so there's still a lot of stigma regarding HIV, a lot of fear going around on patients, but it's definitely not what it used to be before. We have come such a long way, not just with testing, but with the treatment for patients. We can do something not only with testing, but also with treatment.
Maintaining patient health was once a struggle, but treatments have improved to the point that the virus can reach undetectable levels in blood tests, rendering patients non-contagious. There are a variety of tests available, and anyone who might have been exposed in any form should talk to their healthcare provider or pharmacist regarding options. Medical advice remains to share your health status with anyone else who might be affected as well. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention notes that the goal is to eradicate HIV by 2030. And to that end, you still have time to schedule an appointment for tomorrow's National HIV Testing Day. Here for you in studio, Zoe Hewitt with 6 News This Morning.
All right, Zoe, thank you. The White House says this morning it's preparing for a meeting with Iran. This comes after President Donald Trump said he believes its war with Israel is finished. At the NATO summit, he doubled down on his claims that last weekend's U.S. strikes, quote, obliterated Iran's main nuclear site, even despite initial assessments. As Jared Hill reports, new details about those strikes could emerge as early as today.
President Donald Trump, back in Washington from the NATO summit, says his administration plans to meet with Iran next week.
They had a war, they fought, now they're going back to their world. I don't care if I have an agreement or not. The only thing we'd be asking for is what we were asking for before about we want no nuclear.
The president spent much of day 2 of the summit downplaying a preliminary assessment from the Defense Intelligence Agency that suggested U.S. strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites had only set their program back a few months.
The site is obliterated.
Pentagon officials are expected to give a news conference today on the strikes, which the president says, quote, will prove both interesting and irrefutable. Senators will receive a classified briefing.
I want to know the truth, and I hope we can get it this week.
But there are reports the administration could limit how much classified information they receive.
We certainly don't want people who are hostile to this government and are trying to undermine our national security having classified intelligence in their hands if they're not responsible with it.
A briefing for House members is set for Friday. Jared Hill, CBS News.
From Storm Tracker 6, this is Weather on the Sixes, sponsored by Auto Owners Insurance. Simple human sense.
Looks like some folks are getting up and around in downtown Lansing, and if you're heading outside, you might have a bit of a hazy look to things. With temperatures cooling down overnight, some of that moisture in the air condensed, creating that hazy, foggy look, dropping visibility down to just 1 1/4 mile down towards Hillsdale. Now, this is going to start to go away pretty quickly. The sun's coming up, it's going to warm things up, and then as we warm up, it's going to decrease that moisture ratio with temperature. All that's just to say it's going to get hot today. Temperatures are as good as they're going to get right now, seeing some 60s still hovering around in the area. Then this afternoon, we jump right into the upper 80s. Heat index feeling like the 90s, and you have some storms along with it. So for the afternoon and evening, we're putting up a big old red paw. This morning, though, pretty comfortable. So if you want to be like Jet, let the sunroof roll back, take a look outside. It might be best to just take a look outside from the indoors, though, once the heat really gets going. We had a decent break from it yesterday in the Lansing area and farther north, but our southern areas not nearly as lucky. Jackson seeing those upper 80s yesterday. You went farther south and you had Hillsdale and Adrian both getting to the 90s, and that's without heat index calculated in, so feeling closer to the hundreds.
Yeah.
It's delightful.
Spicy.
It is. It's spicy weather.
Yeah.
Which
big time.
We had tacos the other night. This is totally random. Grabbed the wrong mix. Turns out Mom and I don't do well with spice. So
oh, okay.
Dad wasn't different, but Mom and I suffering.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
okay.
Heat inside and out. Check your packages before you cook.
There you go. Good advice all around, Nicolau. We're happy to have you back. Coming up,